This is KGW News at noon.
The quick action of a homeowner likely prevented a wildfire in La Center from getting worse. He helped build a fire line with his tractor. Even so, fire crews will be out there all day today to make sure the fire doesn't flare up. Thank you for joining us this noon. I'm Brenda Braxton. Now, the fire started in a rural area off Jenny Creek Road. In an update just a few hours ago, we learned that it's now 50% contained and 42 acres. Take a look at the evacuation map. That level 3 Go Now area has been downsized and some people are returning home. KGW's Devin Haskins talked with fire crews and got an up-close look at where this all started.
Along Jenny Creek Road here outside of La Center, this is the house that caught fire, then spread to the hills behind it. A barn also on the property caught fire. This fire is what firefighters called somewhat difficult, just because of the amount of stuff that's here on the property. Take a look at this video. This was taken by Clark Cowlitz Fire moments after they arrived and began trying to put it out. Officials say because it was so far out, by the time they were notified and then got out here, the house was fully involved. Then, with the hot and dry conditions, the fire quickly spread to the trees and grass behind the home. The fire did not grow much overnight, but the concern now with more hot weather today is keeping it within the fire zone. And that's where multiple DNR hotshot crews come in, heading out this morning to create a fire line and keep that fire contained.
This is something they call a dirty fire, and what that means is that there are pockets of unburned trees within the fire zone. And so a lot of times when a fire goes through, it burns all the material, and you know that you're not going to have any more flare-ups in that area. But what we have in this situation is pockets of unburned material inside the burn zone, and so those could actually at some point kick up a little bit.
While DNR is in charge of the wildland portion of this fire, Clark Cowlitz Fire says their focus will be to find a cause, if they can, and make sure the fire and hot spots here at the home are all put out. The homeowners, when this fire started, were not here. The fire officials tell us that one thing that did help them out was when a neighbor grabbed their tractor and dug a fire line along one edge of the fire, preventing it from spreading to a grass field and to trees nearby. I'm Devin Haskins in La Center, KGW News.
Let's bring in meteorologist Chris McGinnis. Chris, it's still hot, but we are getting a break from the triple digits.
We are, yeah. No triple digits in the forecast today. In fact, you know what? It's not out of the question that maybe some parts of the valley maybe not even getting to 90 this afternoon. Check this out at noontime now. The map behind me shows the 24-hour temperature change, and it is cooler. It's good to see all these minus signs, right? What this means is that it's 10 degrees cooler right now in Troutdale than it was yesterday. Troutdale hit 105 yesterday, by the way. Hillsborough is 6 degrees cooler at lunchtime, and the big picture across the state, check that out. Bend, nearly 20 degrees cooler right now than yesterday at this time. That's because Central Oregon is actually beneath some clouds and some rain. I'll show you radar in a second. Let's check at PDX for 79 degrees. We have a thin but persistent overcast, which is filtering the sunshine. So one of the reasons why we're cooler. There's the rain showing up on radar. Up and down the Cascades, it's raining right now on Mount Hood, Mount Jefferson, and portions of Jefferson, Wasco, and Deschutes counties. And that's great, right? We're getting some rain on, at least some light rain on some of the fires burning in Lane County as well. The rain's not going to get here, but the cloud cover will be with us, I think, for much of the rest of the day. And so for that reason, temperatures obviously being squashed because of that, right? So 92, we may or may not get there, Brenda, but I don't think there'll be any complaints about that as we continue our cooling trend into Friday. We'll have a look ahead to that and your weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
Welcome relief. Thank you, Chris. Well, when the temperature rises, you should still be careful. Multnomah County believes a second person has died from the heat. This happened Tuesday when the temperature outside was 102. Another person died on Monday. The county hasn't released any details about the people who died. We did talk with a family physician with Legacy Health. He explained how to spot somebody who's struggling with the heat.
You're noticing that they seem to be putting more effort into activities that they usually do effortlessly. If they're breathing more rapidly, if you notice skin color changes that they're not noticing, like redness or flushing of the face, dryness or sweatiness of the palm, any increased agitation, those would be signs to point out to them that maybe they're having a heat injury that they're not noticing or feeling for themselves.
The county suspects the two people who died suffered from hyperthermia, but the medical examiner will have to confirm that. Regulators will have to approve the deal, but OHSU and Legacy Health say they plan to merge next year. The combined system would have more than 32,000 employees, 100 plus locations, and 10 hospitals. OHSU has pledged to spend $1 billion over 10 years to help expand healthcare services. So, what does this mean for patients and employees at these two massive hospitals? Our Mike Benner is working on the story, trying to get some answers. He'll share what he finds out starting this afternoon on the news at 4. A notorious criminal who was the first ever to get a lifetime ban from TriMet just got some charges dropped over a technicality. Jared Walter is a serial sex offender. He was known for cutting women's hair on buses. He's also been charged multiple times with taking photos of women in the bathroom. Earlier this year, he was charged with violating TriMet's lifetime ban when he was spotted on a TriMet platform near Providence Park. The DA's office says it had to drop the case because the ban only applies to platforms that have no shared use with public walkways, throughways, or sidewalks. Walter has been in custody since early May on probation violations. Portland City Council just approving a pay bump for police officers who want more work. The agreement doubles overtime pay for the next 60 days. The mayor and police association hope it convinces officers and sergeants to volunteer for extra shifts. The Bureau says it's down 70 officers because recruiting and hiring has been tough the last couple of years.
From my perspective, we're just trying to kind of incentivize or suggest to people who may not be volunteering or who may be trying to decide between which assignments to sign up for. This really is where we need you right now. We want to make sure that when people dial that number, there's someone to respond right away.
The number he's talking about is 911. Two more things to note. There is a cap of $1 million and the agreement can be canceled at any time. The number of people who died in the Maui wildfires has now climbed to 111. The search and recovery mission is still going on in Lahaina. At last check, they've searched about 35% of the burn area. Video shows downed power lines may have caused one of the fires. The utility company hasn't released a statement yet, saying all the wildfires remain under investigation. Meanwhile, state lawmakers are calling for an independent probe. A boat captain in Lahaina is sharing her memories from that fateful night. She helped to save two kids who jumped into the ocean to escape. Chrissy Lovett tried to protect 3 of her boats, but eventually the harbor was just engulfed in flames. So she and her wife and a couple of friends grabbed a skiff and went out on the water.
We heard a call over the radio that they're looking for any assistance because they had 50 to 100 people in the water. And by this time it's dark, nonstop explosions. So Lashana, Emma, and myself, we sat down and we said, we have an unreliable dinghy motor, but let's try and help these people.
Lovett found 2 children and was able to bring them to a Coast Guard rescue boat. She says the kids were eventually reunited with their parents. For hours, they tried looking for more people to rescue, but they didn't find anyone else.
It's really hard to handle to know that people that I know got trapped by the fire and didn't make it. It's really, really traumatizing. And, you know, and I wish I could have done more to help the situation.
The Coast Guard says it ended up rescuing 17 people from the ocean. You can help the wildfire victims by donating to the KGW Northwest Response Fund. We've partnered with the American Red Cross. Text the word FIRE to the number on your screen, 503-226-5088, and we will text you a link to donate. You can also give in person at any local U.S. bank. So far, we've raised about $43,000, so a big thank you to everyone who's donated.